All right, everyone, we're back underneath the 923A1 5-ton, and I just want to make a real quick short video here of kind of explaining what we did to replace the air dryer. So we ended up replacing the air dryer on this truck completely. It had the Haldex Pure Air Dryer, which those models are becoming either extremely hard to get or gone because they're phased out. And I ended up going with a Haldex Purest Air Dryer. So I actually found this one on eBay. It was $300. It was a new old stock unit somebody had, so it was actually a really good deal. Brand new, looks like it was never used, just sat in an old box. And it came fully put together, ready to go, and it also came with that bracket on the back of it already mounted to the unit. So it came as a full thing. So it was a pretty simple install. The holes actually ended up lining up exactly. I didn't have to drill any new holes. If you do, you just have to drill holes through metal steel plates. You'll just need some steel metal bits and a good drill to make new holes. But overall, those lined up exactly. And then everything else pretty much matched up one-to-one. The only big difference, which actually was a little expensive, on the Purest Air Dryer, which is this one, they moved the intake to the left. So your intake's now on the left, where the old one was over here. So they swapped the control line for the blow or for the unloader and the intake. So I had to get this new line made, this blue line, and this blue line, it was actually $140. So that was a little expensive. That's a custom measured line, and then they crimped the fittings on it by a local place near me. But it's DOT approved airline. It's actually rated, I think, for like 300 and some degrees, because I told the guy it's in line coming off the compressor. So that's what he recommended. And it's a really nice airline. I mean, I won't have to worry about that for the life of the truck. I did end up taking a small section of copper piping out. It just seemed unnecessary, so we took that small section out and then installed that into that T-valve, and then installed the compression fitting on the other side back into the T-valve, and then connected it to the air dryer. So it's real straightforward. That's your intake. It's compression or a union fitting to national pipe thread. So you put this in first with Teflon tape and some pipe dope. Same thing here. But yeah, this one's a union, right? This is a flare union. This one's a compression fitting. So this is a 90-degree national pipe thread to a compression fitting. And this was already on here, so I just reused the fitting. And this already had the compression thing on it, whatever, so I didn't need all the parts that came with it. And then this one over here, I actually remade completely. This is a 1/4 inch pipe thread to 1/4 inch compression fitting. So you got to shove the thing back into the piece, and then as it cranks down, it tightens up and crimps on it. So 24-volt heater. So I rewired the heater. I did end up fusing, because the directions suggested that I put a fuse on the positive line, 10 or 15 amps. So I have a 15 amp fuse in it on the positive line, and then that just runs up to the existing power cable that I spliced into up top. All this is permanent now. I got rid of those butt connectors. They're unnecessary. They corrode and leak. There's no reason to really take this apart. And if I'm going to be taking it apart, it's going to be coming off the truck, so I'll just redo the wiring. So all this is permanently now, and then the ground cable still goes up to where it was grounded out in the frame rail. But I did have to take that apart. I did clean up along the frame rail. That was rusted out pretty good, and it just had like surface rust on it. It wasn't rusted out, but it had surface rust on it, and the ground was actually bad. So when I connected this, when I turned the truck on and grounded out the cable there on my voltmeter, and then checked the voltmeter, the volts coming off the hotline, I was getting nothing. I was getting like 0.3 volts. So it was a bad ground. So as soon as I cleaned that ground up and then reattached that, and then I redid the whole ground wire there, it came right back, 24 volts, 24.5 volts. So 24 volt heater connected, and this is what this does, is this heats the blow-off valve in the sense when, if any moisture comes out of this, if it's running a lot or whatever in the wintertime, this can actually freeze up, and then it will not allow the dryer to blow off, or it'll stick open or whatever. So the heater is what prevents that from freezing up in the wintertime. And we do see winters here in Pennsylvania. So, but again, pretty straightforward process, just some pipe stuff, some wrenches. Yeah, and then this goes into the tank. The reason so the line was like this, and the reason I actually did this, I'm gonna see if this causes an issue later or not, is it picked the line up a little bit higher up into the truck versus just having the line come directly off here into the tank. Because this is a brush truck for a fire company, so it actually does go off-road and would go over like trees and stuff sometimes, depending on where the fire's at. So I didn't want to have this line come right off here and then this line get caught on something and pulled. So that's why it kind of has this loop. I'll see if it causes any issues. If it does, I can always either get a new line and just, you know, make it direct. I can get a, you know, a braided line that's a little more protected, and run it up or something, but I don't think I'll have any issues with it. I did test it, everything's working great. It blows off properly a little after 120. So yeah, just a real quick video. There wasn't really any newer videos out there for an air dryer on a 5-ton, so I figured I'd make this. And overall, I suggested, again, everything pretty much matched up, and it was a pretty simple install, other than this line. Like, the factory line is too short. The factory line came to about here, and obviously it wasn't enough to reach over that side, so I just had a new line made. And honestly, the factory line was pretty rusted out and corroded anyway, because this comes off the compressor, right? So there's no air dryer in that side at all, right? So now this is a brand new line, braided and all that nonsense. So yeah, any questions, let me know. Hopefully that's helpful. There's your part number if you're looking for it. From distributors, they were a little more pricey. They were around the $700 range, but it's still not bad for a brand new air dryer. But again, yeah, like I said, if you can find one on eBay or something that somebody has been sitting around for a while, old stock. And these you can still get the filter cartridges for. So they do sell the filter cartridges online, the desiccant filters. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. See you.